and a special good morning to Leon Black, Steve Schwartzman, Mark Rowan, and all those other private equity giants who are taking home hundreds of millions in bonuses this year thanks to U.S. stimulus checks. I'm Barry Sadowski, and, well, let's get into it. U.S. index futures are down again this morning after yesterday's dramatic recovery, which saw the Nasdaq up 3%. The culprit, of course, is China. We'll talk about that later. The dollar is headed up after yesterday's increase in construction spending and manufacturing data, which saw better than expected results from both market and ISM, the latter which breached the 60-point mark. This is the ISM's 9th consecutive month of expanding manufacturing PMIs. This afternoon we'll be getting Redbook same-store sales report and the New York index. European equities also closed up nicely, with both the DAX and FTSE climbing 1.6%. European currencies are feeling the pressure this morning, despite excellent consumer inflation from Germany and Italy yesterday. This morning, we're seeing UK house prices increasing beyond expectations in February. Manufacturing improved last month despite supply chain problems, COVID, Brexit, and Prince Philip's medical woes. In a couple of minutes, we'll be getting German unemployment figures and Eurozone CPIs at 10. Meanwhile, a quick look at the Euro-USD is showing a very strong trend ending on a bearish engulf, which leaves us with an oversold RSI and nowhere to go but S2 if we cross below S1 on the weekly pivots. Asian markets might be controlled, but that doesn't mean a pessimistic thought can't hurt. Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Tokyo are all down this morning, between 1.7% to 0.8% after China's bank and insurance regulator. Well, he told reporters that the market Main Street schism is a peril. The Australia dollar is southward bound after the central bank overnight kept policy on hold, promising further QE if necessary. Earlier this week, the nation's central bank increased its bond purchasing program. Q4's current accounts saw a $4 billion increase in the surplus between export and imports. And north of the Australasian seas, the yen is flattening out on last night's better-than-expected employment data. Bitcoin continues fluctuating somewhat as the Chicago Options Exchange files a request with the SEC to list shares in a Bitcoin ETF. After a lengthy review period, this could be a first as Canada introduced its third ETF last week. It won't be a moment too soon for Goldman Sachs, which is reopening its crypto desk ahead of attempting to launch its own crypto ETF. In China this morning, like I said, the national finance regulator said fintech platforms had up to 2 years to comply with the same capital requirements as traditional financial services. The oil took an unhealthy plunge overnight, dropping into the 59 range. The liquid has been trading down now for the past 5 days, ever since OPEC Plus hinted it may increase production quotas despite slowing demand in China. Bloomberg reports this morning that Russia has been underperforming, pumping less than its quota due to severe weather conditions. As far as the technicals go, we're currently within that 50-60 range, a bit indecisive, but the MACD is crossing above its signal line quite decisively, and the RSI is heading north from being vastly oversold. All in all, we can probably expect some bouncing around until the volumes perk up later in the day. Well, you can take the boy out of Texas, but Fiat Chrysler has admitted it paid bribes to U.S. auto unions and will be now subject to 3 years of compliance auditing and a $30 million fine. Amazon this morning is getting more bad press as one cloud division manager sues the company over racial discrimination. And as earnings seasons wind down, we're seeing a 326% increase in revenues year on year for Zoom. They're up to $2.6 billion. Hewlett-Packard will be reporting today alongside Urban Outfitters. And that's Tuesday. Hope you liked it enough to come back tomorrow when we'll be presenting you with Wednesday.